we've talked a lot today about the surprise retirement of Coach Jay Wright, who's an icon in Philadelphia. And actually the best coach in the city. I mean, right?
Yeah, and we got another icon coming on,
We got an icon coming on because he took his expertise to Michigan. He left the hill.
Go blue.
Yeah, right.
Go blue. Go blue.
Let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome in a colleague and a personal friend of Coach Jay Wright. He coaches now at the University of Michigan, Phil Martelli. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you doing? And you know what I found out in 3 years is that "Go Blue" is like saying "Yo" in Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. Coach, I'm a Hawkeye, so I don't like to hear that. I don't like to hear that. Don, 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 don. That's not a good sign when you hear that.
It is a great. It is a great song.
Yeah,
I will.
It is.
Coach, the Philadelphia sports scene, and I would imagine all around the country, is probably so surprised and shocked of the retirement of Jay Wright. I mean, nobody saw this coming.
No, it was. I was happened to be in Philadelphia dealing with some family business, and my phone. Somebody hit me on the phone, and I was like, "Nah, that can't. Somebody's wrong. Like, there's no." And then the next reaction, and this was across the country, was then the people that called me, is it a health? That was a health scare.
Yep.
Whether it was for Jay or for a family member, and that's not the case. So that was good news. And then you just step back and say, it's extraordinary. It's extraordinarily stunning. But if you've read everything and you watched everything, he did it. He did it for family reasons and positive family reasons. So kudos to him. I wonder, I wonder what he's going to do Monday morning.
Yeah, right.
The weekend is different, and this is a recruiting weekend for college basketball. But
which leads me to my first. We have a couple of things I want to ask you personally about, because you are a coach. You know Jay personally. You're a colleague. You played against him. But the first thing I want to ask you, Coach, is tell our listeners how much time do you guys spend recruiting? I mean, it's obviously the season's one thing, but it's a year-round thing. You have to. You're on the road. You're talking to families. That takes a lot out of a coach, I guess.
No, it takes a lot out of you, but in the position that Jay had, in the position that I had at St. Joe's, you have to coach your current team. You always have to be recruiting your future teams. And the third thing that you have to do, and he did this extraordinarily well, as good as anybody in the country, you have to represent your school, whether that's community involvement, whether that's stopping at events or whatever the school would assign, because that is really a third of the job. It's not a third of the time.
Right.
But with regard to recruiting, if you're not recruiting every day, whether it's phone, text, answering email, looking at clips, then you're really falling behind. And that's one of the things that has changed. One of the things that has changed is the transfer portal. May used to be the best month. May was absolutely positively the best month. School had been winding down. Most schools were over. There weren't a lot of people on campus. You didn't have individual workouts. You didn't have recruiting because the NCAA had made that a quiet or a dead period. So it was terrific. But with today, with the transfer portal and really kids looking to visit campuses all year round, it's more trying. It's more physically trying, mentally trying.
We're talking with former St. Joe's basketball coach, and now with the University of Michigan, Coach Phil Martelli. Coach, you guys Michigan played Villanova in the Sweet 16. You guys lost. When you gave Jay a handshake at the end of the game, what did you say to him? What did he say to you? Any indication?
No.
None whatsoever.
No, there was no indication, and even beyond that, when they made the Final Four, we would exchange a text. When that young guy Justin Moore got injured, we exchanged text, and I just I had no personal indication that obviously this has been on his mind for a couple of years. And then when people say, some of this, you got to be tongue-in-cheek this week, you'd say, like, you know what, if we had stayed with Suits, because he looks so...
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier today.
He goes, I knew he was retiring because he went from Suits to Armani to Nike sweats.
Yeah. And that was really a couple things that we exchanged. I obviously wished him well, and professionally, I wished it was us moving forward, but personally, that was my friend moving forward, and I wished him well, and didn't have any interaction with him at the Final Four, but there was really nothing that would indicate that to me. I would say this though, and I don't know that it's been talked about, but what he went through with regard to going to the Olympics, and then as soon as he gets back from the Olympics, he jumps in with his preseason work. That's more than a year's worth of work, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like when you're involved with USA Basketball, you end up having zero downtime. So could that have triggered, more of this idea of being tired, and there's other things, and I can do other things, and I will do other things.
We're talking with Coach Phil Martelli here on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. Also, Coach Jay Wright indicated that he wasn't 100% in. We were talking earlier in the program today, in the beginning of the program, like, you're a human being, so there are days that you don't feel like coaching, and there's days that you don't feel like doing. Like, you're not 100% in, but that doesn't mean you have to retire, I don't think. I mean,
coaching's a different breed, though, Bill. You got, like Coach said, there's recruiting, and there's obligations to the university, and then coaching your team, and it's a lot. It's a really full-time job.
And the one thing that came to my mind was this. There are only a handful, and a small handful, not a big handful, but there's a handful of jobs in America where there was a perfect synchronization with an athletic director, a president, a school messaging, and a coach. Jay Wright had one of those jobs. And if any of those things were out of whack, where he didn't feel totally into, I don't want to get in the car and I don't want to go to Wall Street and visit with the Villanova alums, or if coaching, I'm watch two tapes instead of one tape, then everybody would walk away from that. People that are worth their salt, right, and are really in this for the right reasons, not for, man, that's a heck of a paycheck that I get twice a month, or something like that. So I think that, again, the beauty of Jay Wright came out in that statement, because if he couldn't be performing to his best in all facets of coaching, then he wasn't going to. He had no desire to kind of fake his way through.
Now, Coach Martelli, you and Jay and all the coaches of the Big Five, you do your Coaches for Cancer. He donated a lot of his time and effort into that organization and great cause. I don't know if he will be continuing that, because that's such a great thing that you guys do. But you work closely with him throughout the year with that too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The Coaches versus Cancer in Philadelphia is the number one fundraisers in the whole country, and certainly Jay, he's charismatic. I mean, he just has a way of getting in a room and making sure that everybody in that room feels touched. And with all of the efforts in Philadelphia, we never want to lose sight of this. The heroes are not the coaches. The heroes are the people that write the checks. The heroes are the people that come to those events. The heroes are the families that are dealing with that awful, awful disease, and they do it with class and courage. And the coaches get more than they give in the Coaches versus Cancer fight in Philadelphia. And one day, and Jay has heard me say this, and all of the coaches have heard me say it, one day we're going to crush cancer.
I hope you're right, Coach.
I hope you're right.
And this, this obviously the story of Jay's retirement is big, but it will pale in comparison, as will any championship parade in Philadelphia will pale in comparison to the day that everybody can celebrate crushing cancer.
I agree
Well
with that.
said. Well
Coach,
said.
you 2004, the AP Coach of the Year, also the Naismith Coach of the Year in 2004. Philadelphia, you're an icon in the city. Everybody loves Phil Martelli. How difficult of a transition was it for you to leave the city and go to Michigan?
It's been challenging, and I'll say this: like, the basketball is extraordinary. The basketball in the Big Ten, the coaching in the Big Ten is just extraordinary, and it gets your juices really flowing in that area. The way they treat me, it's gold. Now I'm working. Like, I'm not out there as a figurehead. I'm not out there as a mascot. I want to recruit.
The wings aren't always going.
Yeah, the hawk never dies.
Right. I want to recruit. I want scouting assignments. I want on the floor responsibilities. Michigan, you won for nothing. You know, if I said to somebody, hey, you know what, my phone's a little acting up a little bit, then there's somebody to take care of that.
Yeah.
If I want to catch a flight to Kansas City, somebody takes care of that.
Yep.
And all of that is great. The practice is great. Juwan Howard is a wonderful, wonderful man and has become a very, very close friend of mine. But when that ends and I go back to my rented condo in Ann Arbor, I'm still not home.
Right.
And Philadelphia is and always will be my home. I tell people this all the time. I get the Philadelphia Daily News and the Philadelphia Inquirer delivered.
You're the
So do I, Coach, and I get ripped for that.
Everyone else is electronically. Billy's still reading the paper.
No. I read the paper.
Okay.
I have it in my hands, and I'll tell you how crazy it is. I'm a couple months behind reading. So today, this morning, I was reading a paper from February something or other, and don't tell me how this ends, but they was talking about Ben Simmons getting traded. I don't pay attention.
Okay, good.
I just take all my news from the newspaper.
We struck his name from the city. We don't speak. We're not allowed to speak it anymore.
I'll tell you, since you brought it up, Coach, I mean, you know how passionate Philly fans are. They want to love their players. They want the players to love them back, and to have this end the way it did was it was hard. It was disturbing.
Well, you know, like, people outside the city obviously always, well, you guys did this and you guys did that and all this other stuff. But here's what you don't understand. Here's really what you don't understand. All the Philadelphia fans want is they want you to scrape your knee.
Yeah.
They want you to bang up your elbow. They want you to show a little bit of blood and a little bit of, like, you know what? Didn't go our way today. But you know what? The true Philadelphian picks himself up, dusts himself off, and gets back after it. And that's what they want. So when people say they ran him out of the city, well, you didn't embrace the city then.
Yep.
And
Right,
if you don't embrace this city,
They don't like you.
then
You're done.
there's no reason for people to root for you if you don't embrace the city. But don't get caught up in the stereo. Oh, they did this, and come on, look at the kid, the Bohm kid,
Alec
right?
Bohm, yeah.
Okay, he got caught.
Yeah.
And at least he said it. Yes, I said that. Okay?
And he apologized.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and now all of a sudden, like, the next night out, he gets a semi-standing.
Yeah, right? They love
God
that.
bless.
Yeah.
If he doesn't hit the ball to right field last night, they lose again.
Yeah.
So I think it's really is. I think the passion, all they want back is they want that same passion. They want to know that you care. Come on, the Eagles have sold out for years and years and years and years and years, and they were below 500 for a long stretch.
70s, going through that 70s. That was a tough period to go through. Well, Coach, we want to cut into your reading time today, but we really appreciate you coming into the locker room and talking a little bit about the city and Coach Wright and the end of a winning. I just hope that Villanova can stay on track because it's fun. Going deep in the NCAA tournament's a lot of fun, no matter if it's St. Joe's or whoever.
Yeah. It's he's a special guy, and again, the message that I left him, I'll share with you, and said, "This is the path that you've chosen." And it's the same with Fran Dunphy going back to LaSalle. This is the path that you've chosen. I got your back. Like a friend doesn't leave a friend here.
Yep.
All right, Coach.
All right, Coach, thanks. Take it easy on my Hawkeyes, please.
Yeah.
All right,
Coach Phil Martelli in the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. Thanks for calling in, and maybe we'll see you down here at the Jersey Shore this summer.
There we go.
Take care, Coach.
In Avalon, if you're looking for me.
All right. High Rent District.
All right, there's Coach Martelli on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline.